What's going on with the so-called Big Beautiful Bill that Republican politicians in the United States have been working to pass right now? What exactly is the so-called Big Beautiful Bill that Republican politicians in the United States have been working to pass right now? Answer: it is a very large and complicated budget bill which has a lot of the things which President Trump has asked for. Some stuff in there is very controversial because many of President Trump's views are controversial, and these days nobody is trying to compromise in good faith with the other party. It passed the House of Representatives by one single vote. All the Democrats voted against it, and so did a couple of Republicans because they viewed that enough things in there either weren't good on their face, or at least would not be good politically for their home districts. So it was sent to the Senate. Because it is a reconciliation bill, it is not subject to the filibuster rules of the Senate and can be brought to a vote and pass with a majority. However, it is not getting a particularly enthusiastic reception in the Senate. They are picking it apart and identifying things they want done differently. The bill cuts the budget from some services which many consider important, it maintains tax levels which were lowered years ago but set to expire, it substantially increases funding for certain priorities such as defense and border enforcement, and both adds to the deficit and increases the debt limit so it ostensibly can't be used to back Republicans into a corner in the near future. Tucked away inside are some provisions which many find particularly concerning, including provisions preventing the regulation of artificial intelligence for a decade, and preventing the courts from doing anything, or rather spending money to do anything, to enforce a contempt of court ruling against the executive branch. The exact bill, must pass both houses. So if the Senate changes anything at all and then passes it, then it needs to go back to the House for them to vote on what the Senate passed. Often this comes down to a joint committee of sorts to work on the details of a final bill which supposedly should pass both houses. But you never know. For some people who are very much in Trump's camp, the bill does not go far enough in implementing his agenda. For others it goes way too far. The area for compromise is rather small. The passage in the House was so incredibly narrow that any tweaking might throw off one of the yes votes. However, there were also at least a couple of representatives who were not available to cast a vote. I hope this helps.